for Milan or Roy or etc. if the ODI series doesn't go their way. We shall see. All options open till about September the 28th. An interview with Matthew Mott before the start of play. I reckon he used the word provisional about 8 times.
And loyalty as well. Must be quite a difficult question to answer as a coach. He does sit on the selection panel as well, I believe. But if he's put on the spot.
Thumped by Bairstow, a kind of slightly flat-batted drive because he was offered width by Sodhi. You mentioned that Bairstow's got a very good matchup against Sodhi. Feels comfortable facing him. Just given a little bit of width here, and he flat bats it away over extra cover. Rocketed to the boundary.
Oh, ball boy, ball boy.
It's a good comeback from Sodhi because Bairstow was eyeing up that extra cover boundary again. It's the end of the 9th, 84 for 1.
I think Sodhi needs to keep trusting his ability to keep Johnny Bairstow to singles and twos. Don't really bowl into his area, force him to make a mistake. Short, wide to cut. If he's going full, he's got to go right full. Straight into the block hole as he tried to do on that last delivery.
Rachin Ravindra, who is in the side today in place of Devon Conway. Just that's the one change made by New Zealand. Ravindra can bat as well, of course, and offers a slow left arm option.
Lovely watch. Oh, yes, boy, yes, boy. You always want someone in your top 6 to be able to bowl a few overs to make up for the punishment one of your regular bowlers take. England have those options in spades.
Wide. Actually pitched outside that blue line and spun even wider.
Yeah, not a bad option. I don't think they'll mind that wide. It's about frustrating the batter. Trying to get him to make a mistake.
Lovely lads, lovely lads.
Just look good so far.
Brilliant
Good
match.
pace. A little bit of bite off the pitch. Good variation in line as well. A batter usually thinks like a batter in terms of his bowling as well. Trying to anticipate what the opposition wants to do.
Brilliant batting. Absolutely brilliant from Bairstow. He knew exactly where that man was out in the deep on the leg side. So he positioned himself, he got that front foot across and then kind of spooned it really behind square. Wonderful.
Yeah, not a bad delivery at all. He's kind of reading the bowler, anticipating that length, getting outside the line with his front foot to open up that leg side, that fine leg side gap.
Jamo, lovely Jamo. Lovely boy, lovely, excellent man. Lovely Raj. Outstanding Raj. Lovely lads. Excellent boys.
Push, says Bairstow, wanting a second, but there won't be one. ends the 10th over. We're halfway through the innings and England 92 for 1.
Good girl, the feminine fragrance, Carolina Herrera.
Hey guys, these are my travel pics, and my skin as patchy as a world map. And now I've found my go-to product for a visibly even skin tone, Nivea Luminous 630. It visibly improved the evenness of my skin tone. Nivea Luminous 630, now available with 2 brand new serums.
Did you know, by switching to cooler water, you can save up to 50% of the energy used when washing up? Fairy Max Power's special formula cuts through tough, greasy challenges up to 4 times faster in cooler water. For a sparkling clean. Fairy Max Power. Drop the hot and save up to 50% of the energy when washing up. And for antibacterial protection on your sponge, try Fairy Max Power Antibacterial.
Welcome to the city that never sleeps. The greatest return in tennis. The U.S. Open, live on Sky Sports.
Jan's got a boyfriend.
He's nobody. He's not nobody. He's famous. His girlfriend's famous too. His girlfriend? I know it's terrible. We're completely different people. From completely different worlds.
Seamus?
Haley, are you ready for another web-slinging adventure across the Spider-Verse?
Wait. Okay, now we're ready. Can I get out of here?
So wait a minute. There's an elite crew with all the best spider people in it?
You have a choice between saving one person and saving every world.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
Stop Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, available now in Sky Store, the Ultimate Movie Collection.
England pretty well placed after 10. 92 for 1. Johnny Bairstow has been brutal, it's been powerful, and it's been skillful. 66 from 38 just picked up. And that is the slightly shorter side. It certainly seems that way as well, the timing on this occasion. And the belligerence of Johnny Bairstow. Batted through the offside on that occasion. So Bairstow is set nicely. England will feel content with 92 for 1 on the board. Oh! Mitch Sodhi knows conditions very, very well here. Trent Rockets, Nottinghamshire's played for Worcestershire on this ground as well. Big Milan's not got away again. 4 from 7. Analyst help. Looking for boundary, gets one. Darryl Mitchell couldn't quite stop it in the end.
Well, I think he's taking a blow here. Milan just looking to pick the gap over to the short side. Oh, and it's hit him straight in the face. Yeah, straight in the front railings.
Oh! But he just kept a bit low, that.
Good bowling from Sodhi here. Just trying to keep Milan away from that short side. Over the leg side. One slow and wide.
Oh! Yeah, this time a little bit of bounce. So he knows conditions really well. He does sometimes travel the distance in terms of runs scored, but he is a very effective wicket taker.
Lovely, yes. Lovely, yeah, right. Bobble.
Just get themselves through for 2.
So good in the outfield. He's a live wire, Glenn Phillips. He'll have a big role to play again with bat in hand. Always find him in the key positions. Dragged down. Missed out, Milan. Putting it over in the context of the game. 7 from it. 11 gone, 99 for 1. What do you reckon toss fight is here? Historically, high scoring ground, difficult to defend, slightly shorter boundary, sunny evening, maybe a dew later. All things I would say to tend to lead towards bowling first, but England see it differently.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. Everything gears towards a decision to chase in my eyes. England, Mo and Ali, seeing it differently today. We're off to a reasonable start though. Beautiful evening. Trent Bridge, Midlands. Crowd is in.
He's just hiding that, isn't he? So no one else can see. The way hasn't got all of it, but he's got enough of it. It is a smallish boundary. You can see the ropes have been brought in. Just enough for Johnny Bairstow.
Almost an identical dismissal to the last fixture at Edgbaston. Dragged down, Bairstow got none of it. This time, certainly gets enough. It still catches high on the bat.
It's a good record against Bairstow. Out this time, not the middle of the bat on this occasion. Trying to drag it, I think, leg side. And Johnny Bairstow's outstanding innings comes to an end.
He's been excellent today, Johnny Bairstow. Toe of the bat, looking to swing through the line. Darryl Mitchell takes a good running catch. You get the huge wicket of Johnny Bairstow. Scored the majority of England's runs, 73 from 41 balls. England 105 for 2.
Yeah, outstanding innings. Think of his contribution, then you look at the team score. Always a good matchup with Santner. Santner has had a good deal of success against Johnny Bairstow, and you just wonder whether Tim Southey has pulled out a little trick there. I wonder if he brought Santner back on to try and dismiss Johnny Bairstow at that point. If he did, take a bow skip.
Yeah, good bowling. Dismiss Johnny Bairstow. Harry Brook to the crease. He's in the series so far. 43, 67 and 8 in the last game. Looking to get into his work as quickly as possible. England in the last couple of overs haven't really got on top of the good start that Johnny Bairstow has laid.
Oh! Oh boy, oh boy!
He's a brave bowler. You can see that was just skidded through. He's very happy to give it plenty of flight as well and just mix it up. And Johnny Bairstow looks at the bat saying, "Well, not the middle of on this occasion." But credit to Southey because he has an excellent record. 3 for 47 from 31. That's before this game in all T20s. So he has bowled well to Johnny Bairstow and had some measure of success. Quicker again. David Milan is trying to get Harry Brook back for 2. No way back.
Yeah, here I think a contributing factor to Bairstow actually getting out is Milan's slowish start. 11 off 13. Ideally, David Milan would be the person to take Mitchell Santner on. Good player of spin bowling, particularly when the ball is turning into the bat.
Oh!
Milan just strikes it at 105 in the first 10 balls, and then after that goes up to 130. We did see it in the opening partnership. Will Jacks also struggled to get into his work. It has been only Johnny Bairstow. I do get the feeling it is a very good wicket to bat on.
Looking leg side, deep square, deep mid wicket.
Okay.
It's not been an effective shot tonight for David Milan so far. 9 from the over, 108 for 2.
There will be a wonderful gift for each and every one of you.
Enjoy more of the latest blockbusters than anywhere else on Sky Cinema.
Buzzcocks is back, and we can't contain our excitement.
Daisy just sounds like a chicken on every attempt.
For you, looks like a 200 pitch for me. Certainly the way Johnny Bairstow got out of the trap so quickly. Got England into a strong position after 10. And England will be looking at anything with a 2, starting with a 2. Jameson expensive. First over, 17 from it. Feeling it a little bit here, David Milan. Put yourself back into when you were playing Morgs. I certainly will. Trescothick's going absolutely flying out of the traps, and you're trying to get him on strike, and your strike rate is a little down. You're looking at the scoreboard, and you know that you've got to get on with it. You know you've got to find a boundary quickly.
Yeah, it can be difficult. It can get on top of you and lead to a mistake. Certainly in 2 different types of sides I played in. Earlier on in my career, I was encouraged, take your time, get a score under your belt, get the team to a good score. Later in my career, just don't get in the way of the guys behind you.
Hammered, absolutely hammered. That'll just take a little bit of pressure off him. A bit of relief, and maybe a bit of a release shot as well from David Milan on this occasion.
Smart cricket here from David Milan. He just moves across his crease, tries to target that boundary to the leg side, manages to slap it down the ground, taking advantage of the length. Will give him some confidence. Fine player in this format, in all formats.
A bit more cover now, straight. The man is up.
A little bit expensive so far. Kyle Jamieson, 17 from his first over. Most expensive of the games so far.
Wides in a row. I got the impression, looking at his body language, he wasn't overly pleased about the one before. I don't think he can moan too much about that one. Has been punished when he's bowled it into the surface. Very tall man, it's just sat up a little bit. Looks like he's just trying to put in a few different deliveries. Yorker on one occasion, slower ball. It is again. He hasn't played a whole lot of cricket over recent times. Carl Jamieson hasn't quite got his variations in sync yet.
You can see what he's trying to do, Nighty. To start with, the first wide was down the leg side. Clearly changed the plan. He's trying to keep David Milan hitting on the offside. Now, what I'd like to see is deep square brought up to square leg and drop deep point, if that is going to be his plan. Get David Milan hitting to the longer side of the ground. No margin for error at the moment.
Back to length and back to the boundary. That's where he's been punished.
Punished is right, precisely my point. No margin for error. If he's going to choose to bowl wide to David Malan, just two fielders up in the ring behind square on the offside. David Malan will slash away at that all day.
And just as you were saying, he's getting a little bit of advice now. It's the sort of role you would have played, Morgs. Go up to your bowler, senior bowler as well, Captain Tim Southey. As much reassurance as anything else.
Yeah, and it's actually mid-off instead of deep square. So it means he can't bowl full on the offside.
That's the one.
Go on, boy!
I always feel it's never ideal when after every ball the field is changing.
Yeah, here I don't think as a bowler and as a captain you can get it right all the time. It's where you try and take advantage of experienced players, giving direction, giving guidance. Best fielders in the world always know they should be in the hot spots. Get yourself to the hot spots. So at a moment like this, you give Southey and Jemison as much time as they need. Shouldn't be waiting around for direction.
Side, it goes very quickly to the boundary. And this is the over that David Malan was hoping for. It's not the over that New Zealand and Carl Jamieson were. 126 for 2.
Well, it's an excellent shot from David Malan. Low full toss, real straight, almost on middle stump. Holds it straight into the wheelhouse to the short side. Question some of the tactics here from New Zealand. They were excellent in the last game. Very difficult. Two tallest overs. Kyle Jamieson, 17 and 18. Doesn't help, he's only bowled 2 overs so far.
And you'll know better than most that that might mean the end of the evening for him. If it does, then you've got to get another couple of overs from perhaps someone you weren't thinking. Ravindra may be forced back into action. It's going to be Sodhi for now.
Oh, yes, Ish. Lovely, boy. Brilliant, Ish.
I don't see that very often. I think it was so bad he couldn't reach it.
Well, it's a dot ball. Talking about his variations and how good they were. First one's a leg spinner, second one's a googly. He does have excellent variations, and the last one front of the hand to dismiss Will Jacks. He's a fine performer.
KJ, excellent KJ.
The previous ball was like a ball to keep all young budding leg spinners happy. Even Ish Sodhi in an international match is going to bowl that.
Almost like an old school slider. Front of the hand delivery, just extra bit of pace and will skid on with no purchase. It's good enough for Will Jacks.
You reckon, Tim Southey? Try and stop that short one, please. You're doing really well, but not that short one. That was a short-ish, and it should be taken. Yeah, easily taken, pouched. Mark Chapman. Well, he's not bowling his best by any means, Ish Sodhi, but he is continuing to pick up wickets. Any way will do for Sodhi in New Zealand. Harry Brook goes.
Well, it's the second time in 2 games for Harry Brook being dismissed by the leg spin of Ish Sodhi. Bit of a drag down. Brook trying to overhit it, catches high on the bat. And a good catch taken. Harry Brook goes for 4 off 8 deliveries. England 126 for 3.
Liam Livingstone with an opportunity to, for what, 6.5 or so overs, chance to make a substantial contribution. Well, he's got a promise for, why not? Why not? He's going to bowl a whole lot better than this and not pick up wickets. He's got 2 for here.
Best of 103, 40 odd deliveries against Pakistan at this ground.
Oh, lovely Ish, lovely Ish. Brilliant boy.
Very fond memories here. Liam Livingstone. Not really had much opportunity with the bat throughout this series. Batting in the position he does due to the success in the first 2 games. And then not contributing much at Birmingham.
It's extraordinary over. He's gone for 1 run and a wicket so far. Abid Malan to finish things off.
Yep.
Make that 2 runs and a wicket from the over. 128 for 3.
Well, let's have a look at his variation to dismiss. Harry Brook looks as if it's out of the... Skips on. It's high in the back, but a really good catch from Chapman. Blue sky. Clear blue sky, not easy, but elation from Sodhi. Can't believe his luck.
Sodhi, I told you not to bowl that short ball. Oh, you can bowl it as much as you like. Right, well, a terrific effort from Sodhi and from New Zealand in terms of the match situation. England running away with it in the first 10 overs or so, but great fight back. So Malan and Liam Livingstone trying to get England upwards of 180, 200.
Trying to maximise the last 42 deliveries wide. England will have to bat really well. They bat deep. No Jos Buttler today. Moeen Ali stands in as captain. He should be in next. Maybe Sam Curran and Rian Ahmed, Bryden Carson, Adil Rashid. They need to try and look at it. Every opportunity is a scoring one. I think given the platform that Johnny Bairstow in particular created for England to get upwards of 200, 210, New Zealand will feel right back in the game in this position.
This time, Tim Southey just making sure that his hind leg is a little squarer.
Right on.
This is excellent. It really is excellent from New Zealand. They grabbed the initiative. Johnny Bairstow took the initiative and ran with it in the early overs. Southey and his bowlers take out Jamieson, who's been expensive tonight. And they've done a terrific job to claw the situation back. Still 130 for 3 is healthy enough for England if they can build on that. But at the moment, New Zealand will be pretty happy the way they've come back. It's gone up a long way, and just enough, it was a tempter.
Well, he was interested for a long period of time, Chapman, when in reality he had no chance. Ian Livingston getting into his work very, very quickly here. The success that Bairstow had, riding the bounce, hitting up with the ball, making a leaf out of his book.
Trying to come back for 2, nope, settle for 1. Even though still 9 runs from the over, 137 for 3, 5 to go.
Of this England innings remaining. Bairstow gave them a brisk start. Nobody else since then has really got the measure of the conditions or the bowlers. Santner now. Swings it leg side and straight into the giant mitts of Kyle Jamieson. It's a good catch. They're looking right into the sun out there on the leg side, and it's a long way down for the big man, but he clung on well.
Well, I'm not sure whether you picked up on the stump, Mike, just prior to this ball. Mitch Santner yelling KJ, KJ, moved him. He moved him around, and it basically went about 5 yards to his left. Kyle Jamieson with, as you said, Athers, big mitts wrapped around it. The end of David Malan. 26 from 21 for him. 138 for 4.
Big cheer for England's stand-in captain today, Moeen Ali, leading the side in place of Jos Buttler. Just a rotation really from England, who've made 3 changes to their side tonight. Of course, he has captained England numerous occasions before, but it's still a rare honour, and said how much he was delighted to be leading the side at the toss. So he comes in, left-hander replaces left-hander. England still looking for a bit more acceleration. Post Bairstow, they haven't really found it. Oh! Straight, but too high.
Love your sets, love your sets. Lovely boy, lovely boy.
Well, here is Mitch Santner here. I just think we've found this. Yelling out to KJ. Move him round a little bit, get back on the fence. Milan obliges by hitting just about 5 yards to the left of Kyle Jamieson. Acting like he didn't really pick it up.
Lovely, Mitchy, lovely, Mitchy.
The sun is setting very low. It means that both he and Phillips, who out there, who's just fielded that ball, are looking directly into it. Yeah, you can see why he was... the expression that he had on his face. Might be in the game again on the leg side. It's Phillips this time. Santner strikes again, good from New Zealand.
Well, back-to-back key wickets. Milan was looking to anchor the innings, and then Moeen Ali, we know how powerful he is and can be. And Mitch Santner is just impressing yet again. He's finished his 4, his compliment. He's now got 3 for 30. Almost like Moeen tried to roll the wrists on that, didn't try and hit it up and let it carry. Phillips made good ground around to his left as well. 2 hands wrapped around it, quite low down. Moeen Ali now goes for just the 1 in England. 140 for 5 with 4 to go.
New Zealand have looked sharp in the field this evening. Santner is having another good evening. He and Sodhi were very good in the last game in Birmingham, and Santner 3 for 30 from his 4 has had another wicket-taking evening here. So what do we think, Simon? Other than Bairstow, England haven't really got going. Is this maybe a slightly harder pitch? Is that just a measure of how well Bairstow played? Or have New Zealand done something different in the middle part of this innings to hold England up?
I think it's a combination of all 3 of those things, Michael Atherton, to be honest. I think that England are only about 25 to 30 away from a very good score here. 165, 170, I think they are well and truly in the game with the bowling attack that they've got. So to me, I have England just slightly ahead on the scoreboard. Great running, terrific running. We know that Sam Curran is very useful. Livingston's still there. Ryan Ahmed and Bryden Cass, even Adil Rashid. All you need now is a 15, 16, 17 off 7 or 8 balls from someone. And all of a sudden that 170, 175 becomes a real possibility. And I think that is probably just ahead of par.
Sam Curran, who missed the last game. England just resting and rotating through this T20 series. I'd expect to see them play perhaps a more solid lineup in the ODIs, because that will be their final preparation before they depart to India. They've got 3 ODIs against Ireland as well, but I'm not sure it's going to be the World Cup 15 that will necessarily play against Ireland. So I think through the ODI series you'll see a bit less rotation. Backward point, deliberately so by Curran, who is off the mark with a first ball boundary.
A little bit of width. He's got good hands, Sam Curran. Quickly onto this. Henry looking to go into the surface. Decked away a touch and deliberately hit up and over. What is their best 11 then? If you're looking through this squad here, where do they go with that bowling attack? Topley, Willie, Wood, Wokes, Carse, Atkinson.
Yeah, 6 seamers, which is of course one of the issues that people have raised around England's provisional World Cup squad. Do they need 6? England think they do at the moment, because of the length of the tournament in India and also the injury records of the likes of Mark Wood and Chris Wokes of late. They think they need that cover in the seam bowling department. So there are 6 seamers: Reece Topley, David Willey, Sam Curran, 3 left armers in there. Carse has been brought in as an additional name to the ODI squad.
Again, no, they want.
Livingston wanted it, Curran didn't. Probably wise with Phillips bearing down on the ball at pace. 149 for 5.
The one advantage that England have, I think, when I look through that squad, and it's a massive advantage because you just pick out the names: Moeen Ali, Liam Livingston, Joe Root. 3 of your top 6, possibly 7, depending on where Moeen bats, all bowl spin. So they only need to pick one genuine spin bowler in Adil Rashid. So that's the benefit of that England squad for mine. There's four spin bowling options that could all play in the starting 11. So I can understand the reasoning behind the 6 seamers, because they can rest and rotate those 6 seamers and have 4 spin bowling options in their starting 11. Sam Curran there as well, probably a given for mine, guaranteed starter. And then you can just go where you want with 2 others. Wokes more than useful with the bat. Really useful with the bat. Topley's had a nice resurgence. Great to see him back. Genuine pace of Atkinson and Wood. It's got a great balance to it, although it's got 6 seam bowlers in it, I think.
Ravindra back to bowl some left arm spin, was given 1 over earlier, and it was a pretty decent over as well. It went for 8. Talked about the usefulness in that England ODI squad of having batters who can bowl. Ravindra is exactly that for New Zealand, and having an extra bowler tonight useful, given that Jameson has gone for 35 from 2. Curran goes high, wide of long on, and he's done well, I think. Finn Allen, so calm and composed there. He had 2 options really, whether to get rid of the ball to Glenn Phillips, who was closing in on him from deep mid-wicket, or whether he was confident enough to do it himself. In the end, he needed no help.
There was a moment where it looked like he was going to throw it to Phillips. We could see it just down in front of us here in the pod. And we'll have a look at it. Martin Saggers is our TV umpire.
TV umpire to director. We've got a review for a fair catch on the boundary. I've checked the front foot. It's fair delivery. If you could go to your best angle, please, for the catch. Okay, keep rolling that through. Okay, he's taken the ball initially inside the boundary, throwing the ball up. At no point was he beyond the boundary with the ball. I'm ready with my decision for the big screen.
Well, I know these players practice those boundary catches till the cows come home. But at no stage there did he look like he was panicking at all. And that is the value of that practice that the players put in before games, during the days off. They're so used to catching them like that now. It's almost second nature. No sense of panic. Coordination was right. Composure was right. Here comes Rehan Ahmed. It's been a pretty decent, well, overs 55 to 17 or 6 to 17 for New Zealand.
Phillips, we haven't seen Phillips bowl in the series yet. He'll offer something.
Lovely boy, lovely boy.
When it comes to that World Cup, I'm sure, but what do they do around the Rachin Ravindra? Because he offers some spin and can bat in the middle order, but does he replace a Neesham or a Mitchell in a squad? Probably not. Do they take Kyle Jamieson now that he's come back? I'm not sure I would.
Didn't take him long. Had a look at a couple, Rehan Ahmed, and then deposited his third ball over long on for 6.
Such a good shot. This is not a half volley. This is not tossed up. He just waited for it and has hit it so beautifully. Just the power continues here from an England point of view.
Oh. They might get back for 2. They do. That's very good running. Certainly not where he intended the ball to go. He mishit it so badly. In the end, they could scamper back for a couple. 158 for 6. 2 overs remaining. No Joss Buttler this evening, who is resting, and any England side without Joss Buttler in one-day cricket, whether that be 50 over or 20 over, is a little weaker. But they may... Two overs remaining. Here's Saudi.
Really good from Rachin Ravindra too, covering.
Livingston, but he's still strong enough to muscle that away through cover.
Power.
Change this time from Saudi. A very good Yorker. Tucked into Livingston's boots, and he can only get it away for a single.
And with that power, he can play offside and leg side as strongly as both, but he just sometimes shuts himself off and looks only leg side. And bowlers around the world now know that that's the area to bowl to him, try and get wide of off, try and make sure. But if he holds his shape, the grounds are not big enough. Bats are so good. He really has to make sure he just holds his shape, and the offside is still a good option for him.
Brilliant fielding out in the deep. It's a direct hit, but it will allow England to get through for a third.
TV umpire to director, we've got an umpire review for a run out at the bowler's end. Got to check the best side on angle, please.
Livingston is well home. We've remarked on many occasions how brilliant Glenn Phillips is in the field, how quick he is to the ball. Got a very good strong arm as well. Combination of that, though, just allowed England to get an extra run there. And it gets Livingston on strike. Brilliant from Saudi. Just a bit of late movement in as well. A perfectly directed in-swinging Yorker to complete the 19th. 171 for 6.
Well, they're in the right area, I think, for a very good score here, England. They would love 9 minimum off this last over. Anything above that, above 180, they are well and truly above par here at this ground.
Matt Henry then to bowl the last over, bowling from the end, where in the test match last summer he was punished by Johnny Bairstow, hitting to that kind of there's a 1/4 of the ground there that's just very short.
And there again, that's the area, and Liam Livingstone is still opening up, looking maybe long on. He just stays still, almost open the blade. Look to carve, there's no one. It's a really risky delivery with this field set. No one at backward point, no third. They're putting one back now, and I think this is the right field set. I'd be bringing the deep mid-wicket up or the long on up and have another man at long off on the boundary and bowl that full and wide. Make the batter look to do something different.
Excellent from Henry. Both the length and the line. The length was spot on. It's around popping crease length, Yorker length. But the line, absolutely perfect as well. Right on that blue line. Fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's really good. I just don't like the field ethers. I want a third back. I've got to have a third back here just for that edge. You don't need your deep long on or your deep mid-wicket even. One of those two can come up.
Trouble for Rayan Ahmed, who hit it firmly back at Matt Henry. Livingston had already set off to try and get on strike, so Rayan Ahmed had no option really but to almost sacrifice himself.
Well, again, it's a terrific delivery. It's a part of the game that Matt Henry has really worked on the last 2 years. White ball bowling at the back end, and he's had a superb start to this over. Brings about the run out. Sacrificial run out of Rehan Ahmed for 11. Just the one run from this over so far. 172 for 7 now. Vastly improved Matt Henry in this discipline of the game. Right up in the block hole, not allowing any room for Rehan Ahmed to get underneath it.
Well, he's been good in this final over. It's clear what the tactic is, to push it wide, keep it out of that arc where the batsman can swing away to the leg side, and he's done it well. Ryden Castle was excellent with the ball in the first 2 games of this series, and back in the side today. Has got 2 balls left of this innings to make an impact with the bat. Slower ball, very good. Livingston does the right thing and sprints through to get himself on strike for the final ball of the innings.
Superb again from Matt Henry. Just the 3 so far. And the 5 deliveries bowled. He's got the Yorkers right. Can he finish it off?
Yeah, it's been an outstanding final over from Matt Henry. Wide Yorkers, a well-disguised slower ball. What will he come up with now for the final ball of the innings? With Livingston no doubt eager to swing away leg side. I fancy it might be a wide Yorker again. It was an attempted wide Yorker. He didn't quite get the line right on this occasion.
Yeah, idea perfect. Execution not quite. Can't blame him. And this is where coaches and captains kind of accept that you bowl a wide or 2, because the straight one can go for 4 or 6, whereas you're doing the right thing. You're just slightly missing.
Brilliant last over from Matt Henry. That's a smart catch by Captain Saudi, because the ball was travelling at him. But what a good last over that was from Matt Henry. It's always good from a New Zealand perspective to go into the break having finished well, and they finished excellently there. Livingston, the final man to go for 26 from 20, trying to get another wide full ball over extra cover. He couldn't quite get the elevation. Good catch, Saudi.
Yeah, terrific catch, Tim Saudi. Didn't quite get going, Liam Livingston. Again tonight, 26 off 20 deliveries for him. And England outside of a terrific innings from Johnny Bairstow. Once again, 73 from 41, just the standout. Everyone else really didn't get going. 16 from 15, 26 off 21, 26 off 20. So to a man, they struggled a little bit outside of the brilliant Bairstow at the top.
Yeah, so well done to New Zealand's bowlers who came back from that initial assault from Bairstow. The best figures, Mitch Santner, 3 for 30 from 4. There were a couple of wickets for Ish Sodhi as well, 2 for 21 from his 4. So the spinners, who did really well in the last game, sharing 5 wickets and 6 if you include Rachin Ravindra and his slow left arm. So spin to win, possibly for New Zealand again tonight. They'll have to chase 175, so 176 to do it and to square the series. 175 for 8 then for England, powered away by the brilliant Johnny Bairstow, who really enjoys conditions here at Trent Bridge. When we return, we'll watch the New Zealand attempt to square this series. They'll need 176 to do so.
There's 2 things I love: rugby and teaching. You have to look after yourself, before looking after anyone else. And that starts with self-care.
Upgrade to new Dove Men Advanced 72-hour antiperspirant plus added moisturisers for confidence that lasts.
When I have a deodorant that protects me, I can be confident and ready to deliver what I need to for my players.
Upgrade to new Dove Men Advanced.
It's lovely here, isn't it? Not too big, not too small. We wanted to keep an eye on our home even when we're out, so we got this smart tech. And that's when we caught her, this Goldilocks, breaking our chairs, our beds. She even ate our overnight oats. Good thing insurance is included. It felt just right. Smart tech and home insurance. Smart home insurance. From Sky Protect.
Hey, Dave Angel, Eco Warrior. Utilitor pay-as-you-go smart meters tell you how much energy you're using and what it's costing you. And when you can see, you can save. Now we turn the lights off when we leave a room. We only boil the amount of water that we need. And I batch bake my vegan sausage rolls. The cheapest, greenest energy is the energy we don't use. Oh, here we go.
Shirley, you'll bring the old grid down.
Utilitor, energy in your hands.
So you have diabetes and your glucose is heading low. Good thing the new Dexcom G7 can alert you before you go too low, without finger pricks or scanning. That's more peace of mind. Manage your diabetes with confidence with Dexcom G7. Learn more at Dexcom.com.
Though the sun may not be bright, if we look inside our souls there's light. It's a good enough day to love. Through the blankets, rags and torn, blankets, rags and torn. Turn my eyes to you, there's a warmth there too.
Can England continue their good form from the Ashes as they host Sri Lanka in a T20 series? Find out live on Sky Sports.
Sky Arts brings you an unmissable celebration of the incredible David Hockney.
When I'm in the studio, I feel 30.
The Irish Open is back from the K Club as Rory McIlroy returns to the site of his first ever professional victory on Irish soil. Watch it all live on Sky Sports.
The extraordinary NFL. Eagles flying, Chiefs superstars. Touchdowns all day as Giants pile in. We enter nations full of celebration. Ravens soaring, teams roaring. Bills just keep scoring. Jets trade, fans parade, and elite plays on the center stage. Right, score as 32 teams throw. You guessed it, the extraordinary NFL, part of the world's greatest show.
Much loved comedy panel show Nevermind the Buzzcocks returns to Sky Max for a third series with a new host of brilliant guests putting their pop culture knowledge to the test. So that's on Sky Max pretty shortly. Okay, where are we then as far as half-time here in this game? Much relying on England. Well, they'll feel pretty happy. I think it's a decent score, nothing more than that. 175-8. Johnny Bairstow leading the way right at the top of the order, but Mitch Santner and Ish Sodhi quite outstanding with ball in hand. Kumar's alongside me, pitch behind. We'll have a look at it in a moment, but who's the happier?
I think New Zealand at the moment. I think it's a good total. Way short of probably where England should have got with the start they had, but that's due mainly to the spinners in New Zealand side and Matt Henry, who finished off that innings perfectly with the ball. So this could be the close game that we've been looking for tonight. It's been one-sided so far, but perhaps this might be much closer.
Yeah, fair point. England fans are thinking, hang on, what, 105 for 1 off 11 overs. Johnny Bairstow going berserk at the top of the order. Should they have got more?
I'm pretty sure they could have, because there were no demons in the pitch. The ground dimensions, 60 yards, maybe 6 yards difference between the two sides, so that doesn't really matter. But I think it's a spin again, as we saw in the last game. I think 5 for 51 of the 8 overs, and then Matt Henry bowling really well and closing the innings off, not letting Livingston cut loose. So yes, on one hand, England probably wasted a good start. They lost too many wickets in clumps and really didn't navigate the middle. I thought David Malan slowed down a little bit too much. He was a little bit premeditated in the way he tried to execute British shots, probably held up the innings a little bit, but there was enough there for them to drive towards that 200 mark, at least get past 190. But all credit again. Bowl as well as he normally does, but probably that helped him. Sometimes when you are unpredictable in line, in length, it helps. He started off by trying to get Johnny Bairstow off the strike. He went either really full or got him cutting short and wide, and then he mixed it up really well. Yes, you can say that he bowled one into the pitch, a half tracker, where you had Harry Brook hit it up in there, but that's what happens in T20 cricket. And the more unpredictable you are, and with a plan, it helps. And in terms of the England batters, the real key is to get the balance between boundary hitting and getting the singles, the twos and the threes right. The problem for England, or the luxury that England has, is because they bat so deep, they have the ability to keep going right from the start and keep attacking, which they probably should. And sometimes when you do that, you fall short, but they have the bowling as well, the bowling depth as well, to try and meet the challenge that the New Zealand batters will present.
If we just highlight Santner, I thought it was a brilliant bit of captaincy, actually. Tim Southey bowling back for Johnny Bairstow, and if you were with us on commentary, he has an excellent record match-up against Johnny Bairstow. Now, Johnny Bairstow was flying at this point, and Mitch Santner
but in terms of understanding his own side, that's where all of this comes in. Yes, you have the matchups that you're working with. You had Santner coming in at the start, not really successful in a way, and then to bring him back and still have that matchup as an option and the ability to break through. Yes, probably risky with Johnny going so well as he did, but when it works, it works. As a captain is key.
I'm not sure the odds are in your favour right now, because you're actually on commentary. We're halfway out in the middle of the ground. You've got to start getting your running boots on. Looks like it's Finn Allen as well. So New Zealand, well, they're going to win this game. If they do, then it will be a level series. If they don't, then England will dominate the four-match series and take it 3-1. So there's lots and lots on this next 20 overs or so.
A couple of days ago to bring the series back to 2-1, and a lot of that was on the back of this man here, Finn Allen. We're looking for him to get going again tonight. 175 for England, so 176 required. Stunning afternoon and evening. It's been a gorgeous day here in Nottingham and right across the country, actually. Sam Curran with the new ball, and hearing that Johnny Bairstow has injured himself while batting. So the skipper's back out there. Wonder if he now takes over, or does Moeen keep going? How's that work, Sanger?
Well, I think if Josh is the regular captain, he can take over, or he can just sit back and relax and just do his keeping and allow Mo to continue and to have the pressure of captaining in what could be a really good and tight chase and a tight game as well.
Yeah, New Zealand would have had to have given permission for Joss Buttler to be allowed to keep, and they wouldn't have had any issue with it, because when it's the wicket-keeper, supposed to use someone who's already in the team, but to bring in a substitute keeper, they would have just asked New Zealand. New Zealand would have said no issue at all. Away you go. because they're good blokes. Crunch first ball over extra cover and away to the boundary for 4. Finn Allen just starting where he left.
I was about to ask you what would be an ideal start for New Zealand. I didn't even have time to get the question out, and the first one on a leg gets put away. But it is a key question, isn't it? We saw whether it's a chase or setting to really commit to what the team wants from the opening pair. And that's going to be a crucial factor in this chase for New Zealand, Dooley.
Yeah, very different, or a different opening combination as well. Tim Seifert and Finn Allen. He's gone through the gap as well. And it's a chase now for Luke Wood. Gets there just, I think. Good piece of work. So no left-hander at the top with Seifert and Allen. Mitchell, Phillips. Chapman's the first of the left-handers in the order. And we'll just check this one, though.
Where do you stand, Dooley, in terms of left, right hand? I mean, if your best batters are right hand, they are right hand. If you don't have a left hander, you don't. You can't make a substitution for the sake of it. You've got to get your best batters in.
Yeah, I stand in the same position as I do on the matchups thing.
Sandner worked today against Bairstow, didn't it, Dooley?
Goodness me. Yep. Swing, nice from Sam Curran.
Good thing about stats, Dooley, we can prove whatever we want. We can use it as we please.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim Seifert. And opportunities at the top of the order. His 50th match today was presented with his cap just prior to today's play. Over top of mid-on, and a few bounces and rolls into the boundary as well. Seifert's first boundary.
That sounded beautiful off the bat. That was like a bullet. That gun going off. Absolutely smashed. Normally you would see that go through mid-wicket, but the ball just holding and going across the right hand. And Seifert is up to the task, going through with the shot. Good thing that he didn't pull out of it. Went with it. Got in a bat on it.
Ace off from Curran. I like Tim Seifert in the power player. He's that type of player that he gets on a little run and time the ball well. He does play the short pitch bowling generally quite well. Very quick between the wickets.
And a good opportunity for Seifert as well. Much rather come in with no wickets down and in the power play on a flat pitch, Dooley.
What now?
First over gone, 11 without loss. He's adopted the Faf du Plessis as Tim Seifert now. He spent the early part of his career almost mimicking Brendan McCullum. He was a huge idolizer of Brendan McCullum, and basically his batting stance, everything about him was exactly the same as Brendan McCullum, but now Brendan's obviously gone and in charge of England, so he thinks, I can't do that anymore.
Everyone's got a sell-by date, don't they? You're only relevant for a very short period of time, Dooley. Brendan McCullum's had his time. Faf du Plessis now, and when Faf retires, could be someone else.
Yeah, he's got the pink grip. He's got the really high Faf bat wave at the top. So, unfortunately for Brendan McCullum, he's no longer the flavour of the month.
In white ball cricket.
Yeah, who would have thought that would ever be said? Inside edge this time from Finn Allen's bat. A little bit of good fortune.
Not exactly where he wanted it to go, but effective. Runs are all that matters. Wherever they come from, off an edge, off the middle, doesn't matter.
Too much swing. You can see Finn Allen here has deliberately changed his stance a little bit, I think, from game number 2 and 3, where he's a lot more outside leg stump now. Even toes are outside.
That's mainly because Luke Wood, when he settles in and wants to keep Finn Allen quiet, he goes that middle and leg line, just going across him. Doesn't really try to swing it in too much. Right now he is trying that because he's looking for wickets, and England needs a couple to start off with in this power play. That's a great shot. Beautiful. Opened up his stumps. Asked Luke Wood a question. Are you brave enough to go at the stumps and hope I miss? And he didn't.
Well, it's a great point, because it's exactly where he got in trouble in that third game, in the second game actually, where he was getting tied up in and around the thigh pad area. So he's given himself a lot more room here. He's not going across the stumps whatsoever. He's just saying, if you want to bowl at middle and leg even, I can still hit you straight. And a little surprise on Luke Wood's face.
What would you do now if you're a bowler? Will you still look to hit the stumps, or will you now mix it up, a slower ball, go across him a lot more, and go maybe middle and leg to off stump?
I'd go really wide. Pace off really wide. Well, he does well there. Oh, yeah, I'd be tempted to go pace off and go just inside the wide line if he's not, and try and get him to reach for one.
Would you change the field?
No, because I wouldn't want to tell him that I was doing it. And inside the power play, I don't think I'd want to tell him that I was doing that. I'd just maybe change one.
And when the batters move, let's say, to outside leg stump, in your mind as a bowler, do you shift the stumps as well and say, all right, now actually middle stump is off stump, so I can adjust my line a little bit further down leg side, if you like, and that becomes a normal delivery?
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to watch where the batter's moving to too much, but you do want to watch where he starts. Different for Seifert, who's a little more conventional at the moment. You almost make leg stump your line, like leg stump is your off stump, because of where Finn Allen's toes are. I'd be thinking leg stump is my off stump, set the field accordingly, so have my two-man leg side on the boundary. And try and just maybe hit the top of leg rather than the top of off. Goes across and bowls it. Finn Allen makes the move, Luke Wood strikes, and England get their early one that they were looking for.
Finn Allen has gone back to his usual habits. Looked really good again. Looked brilliant in the last game. Was brilliant in the last game. But this was where New Zealand needed him again to be smart. 22 runs of 1.5 overs. And he goes for glory, misses, and he's castled. And once again, what looked like such a promising start, and New Zealand get pushed back. Finn Allen going for 16, New Zealand 22 for 1.
Daryl Mitchell has come to the crease at the fall of Finn Allen's wicket with strike rate average of 25. He spent a bit of time batting at the top of the order and the middle order. Shifted around a touch over those 56 matches. He's off the mark with a little push to cover point for 2. End of the second over, and New Zealand are 24 for 1.
I was a world champion 4 times over, but I consider myself a failure. It wasn't supposed to end this way.
There will be a wonderful gift for each and every one of you.
Enjoy more of the latest blockbusters than anywhere else on Sky Cinema.
Wicket for Luke Wood. 13 offers over. Bryden Cass, who was impressive in his opening match up in Durham at his home ground. Got 4 wickets in just his 3rd match tonight. Starts with a full one just outside the line of off. Look here, Finn Allen, this series, that one hitting the top of leg stump, a little bit of movement, that there, just a, dare I say it, a hoy across the line, and that one there exactly the same. Just another uncultured slog across the leg side. Big, plenty big. Just picked it up, helped it on its way, and a boundary 6 for Tim Seifert.
Talking about a short side and a longer side doesn't matter when you hit it into the crowd. And batters these days with the strength and power climate, it goes far and beautifully picked up, beautifully hit. Great extension of the hands and not trying to overhit it.
Right there!
Crowd catch. Yeah, the reason that Finn Allen went to leg stump was to open up to be able to hit the ball straight or over long off. And then he moves across to off stump and has a hoy across the leg side. As a coach, you'd be just pulling your hair out.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? In his mind, he wants to hit a 6. So if you're hitting a 6, why did you hit it straight down the ground? Forget the field, just hit it for 6.
Right there.
Why complicate it by moving across the line and trying to hit a shot where the chances of you making good contact when you want to hit a 6 are minimized? Just stay outside the stumps, like you said, because you want the bowler to bowl at the stumps, and the bowler did. Stay in that line and then execute your shot. Try and hit it for 6. Give yourself the best chances of making contact. Make sure the odds are in your favor when you're taking a gamble. Perhaps you didn't need to take the gamble as well, but if you do, just make sure you do it smartly.
Seifert goes straight, not perfectly timed, but it will be good enough for 4 more. On the up.
I mean, it's a good contrasting example, isn't it? In terms of Seifert. We saw him pull the ball for 6. Didn't try to muscle it over, hit it, but he picked it up and timed it and hit it as hard as it needed to be hit. Here, not the greatest of contact, but he knows he only has to clear the 30-yard circle. If he gets over that and he's given himself the best chance of going down straight, the ball's meeting the ball with the angle, hitting through the line, and he knows that if he gets it right, it's a low-risk option for a boundary.
This is it!
From Tim Seifert. Ends the 3rd over, New Zealand 35 for 1. Yeah, no, I just go back to that opening game in Durham, and in that first over, what he hit on top of our pod or over our pod, over long off, where he didn't have to hit it too hard, he just timed it beautifully. And I sort of said the same thing about Liam Livingstone in that England innings. Livingstone's become a little bit one-dimensional for my liking and almost takes the offside out of his game. And Finn Allen, when he's looking for boundaries, looking for that real power, he too just gets a little bit, loses that shoulder, that back shoulder, it drops, and he just gets a little bit leg side. But he's such a big man. He's got real power. He holds his shape. Run-out chance, direct hit would have been very tight.
We saw Johnny Bairstow as well. If you take the game in Manchester, started off trying to hit it too hard, got a few nicks inside edges, but once he was out of the power play, he suddenly found his rhythm, never tried to overhit it thereafter, and just timed it, hit through the line, used his strengths, and made sure that when he was taking a risk, that the odds were in his favour. It is the same Johnny Bairstow today. I mean, there were times where he played one shot after hitting with so much power. He played one shot off the hips, a beautiful leg glance for 4. Now that's balancing touch and power in an innings.
That's power. Power to burn from Daryl Mitchell. Do not bowl short to that man. He loves it.
He does. He's such a good player. And it's really encouraging that New Zealand's decided to take not the risk or the gamble, but perhaps thinking really smartly in terms of what his batting role is. And instead of waiting to put him in at a particular batting position, they go for where he's best to enter a game, and which is definitely with the new ball in the power play.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it with you, didn't I? And I think it was game number 1, where if Williamson was going to be unavailable for the first 1, 2, 3 games of that 50-over World Cup, he's the man I would have at 3. For that very reason, I think he's such a good player of quick bowling, can play spin, can target the power play. And there's a lot to like about what Daryl Mitchell offers. We saw him open when Devon Conway got injured in that T20 World Cup in the UAE. He did a great job opening the batting there.
Did he carry the bat against England? A brilliant innings, never panicked at any stage. Daryl Mitchell is also very meticulous. We're talking about it as well. Takes copious notes at team meetings. Makes sure that everything is written down. He's got a record. And he's just an overall great team man.
Yeah, absolutely. Made the move a couple of seasons ago from Northern Districts down to Canterbury. Set up family down there. Wife and a couple of kids who travel a lot with him. He's a very talented cricketer. So Daryl Mitchell, England saw the best of him last summer here. In that test series, he was superb, along with Tom Blundell rescuing New Zealand time and time again. It was almost like they couldn't get them out. But he's a really good player. So I like him in this sort of role in the top 3 at least in white ball cricket.
You're asking the question, who's in charge? And it's Moeen Ali. Definitely so. It's brilliant to watch the dynamic, the trust they have in this England side.
Yeah, come on.
And brilliant of Josh Buttler as well on the field, and he's able to just sit back and let Moeen take the reins and keep going with it.
Yeah, especially when you think you're just going to put your feet up and have a couple of cups of tea and not too much at all. All of a sudden you're out there.
Yeah, he had a bit of a bat in Manchester, a little bit more in the last game, and this one he was quietly waiting, thinking, well, it's got to be a quiet day, and then he's got to do the hard yards. Great shot. Absolutely beautifully played. The weight a little bit on the back foot to try and get the elevation. Lukewood going full and just put away for another brilliant boundary.
Well, they've taken to Lukewood tonight for 25 already. England took to Kyle Jamieson. Might have been a little bit of pace off, just a slight hint of a cutter it was. Seifert waited, just see the eyes down on the ball, stayed down with it really nicely. Exactly.
Well, so far, Julie, the Faf du Plessis has been working. He's hit it beautifully. It's all about getting that timing right, isn't it? Just being comfortable. Faf du Plessis has got that, as you said, that high back lift, that really side-on, mechanical kind of stance. But it's all to do with being comfortable as an individual in how you set up to the ball, how you see it, how you get your timing right in terms of your initial movement. It's working for Seifert beautifully so far.
Push for 2 here. I think they will. Good running. Tim Seifert and Daryl Mitchell. New Zealand's 50 up at the end of the fourth over. They're 50 for 1. It's a really good start. Lost the wicket of Finn Allen for 16 from 6 deliveries. Phillips, who's been in really good form. Chapman, Ravindra getting an opportunity tonight.
What is Rachin Ravindra's real strengths in T20 cricket, Tuli? Because what does he bring in this game? We saw him bowl a couple of really good overs.
Yeah, he's a good, very good timer. I liken him a little bit to Mark Chapman, actually. A good timer of the ball. He plays offside really well. He's got power. Not a huge striker, but he does have enough power, and he'll maneuver the spin if he gets an opportunity as well.
Come on then. Watch out.
It's an interesting field, isn't it? Mid-on, mid-off, both up. So it doesn't matter whether it's a leg spin or a googly, unless they're stern, you can't err on the full side.
Over the top of mid-on. Didn't time it at all, Tim Seifert, but just got enough of it.
They just need to clear that 30-yard circle. Got to be careful. Seifert, being a wicketkeeper, hopefully reads the variation quite well, Dooley. And when you do, if you're full, you're asking for trouble with the field set as it is. Needs to be a little bit shorter, skid it through onto the pads and stumps, get him hitting square.
More like it. So you're talking about that one out of the front of the hand, skidding through to a roundabout leg stump. Off the back foot, that is a terrific shot from Tim Seifert.
I was just thinking in my head, how many times I've seen Josh Butler play this very same shot. Anything that's slightly short with the field as it is, Josh has the ability to just rock back and play a vertical back shot over the offside field or straight down the ground for 4 or 6. Beautifully picked by Seifert. It is one of the hardest shots to play, Dooley. Straight down the ground off that back foot.
2 players spring to mind. Josh Butler's one of them you talk about. Heinrich Klaasen. He's the other one that I think that they play that better than anyone in the world. Heinrich Klaasen is superb off the back foot to the spinners straight down the ground as well. This time off the front foot, and beautifully struck Tim Seifert again. Not sure that that's gone all the way or not. I think it's just a 4.
Yeah, this is a great example of classical batting. He's got power, yes. He's got strength, but it is based on a technical foundation. He hits through the line of the ball, not too much flair, just so effective, so simple.
Oh, it's just drifting down, I think. Butler was interested momentarily as a shy at the stump. Seifert dives. No damage done apart from maybe to the elbows. 5 overs have been bowled, and New Zealand is 65 for 1.
Enjoying Nescafe Gold Blend is about much more than its smooth taste. It's about something bigger, because you join millions of others choosing 100% responsibly sourced coffee that helps improve coffee farmers' lands and livelihoods. Expect more from every cup. Nescafe Gold Blend.
Ahead New Zealand, standing partnership. Johnny Bairstow was in full flow at this point for England. Scored the lion's share of that 56. Historically high scoring ground. Not easy to defend. There's not a dew out there, so it's not sliding on at the moment. Curran back into the attack. Seifert has been outstanding. Bit of an onslaught there on Adil Rashid.
Yeah, he more often than not is brought on immediately the power play ends, but given the start New Zealand made, Rashid brought on in the power play, and well, there are a couple of fantastic shots down the ground from Seifert.
There was that shot in the last over from Adil Rashid. It's one of the shots you see made this point in the last game. Someone like Rashid Khan bowls a lot of these type of balls. It's not short. He's not short by any means, but use of the crease and a straight batted shot. Have a look at the length there and the way that the ball goes back over your head. Often previous generations you go back and you look to play a cross batted shot, cross towards deep square. Now they play it down the ground. It just means it's so hard for a bowler to defend that length.
Yeah, the days of spinners floating it up are gone. They tend to, more often than not, there are some exceptions, but more often than not they're looking to bowl a length that they say, well, the ball will just skim the top of the bails, which is not short enough to pull with that cross-bat shot that you mentioned. But if you can hit a straight back shot straight over the bowler's head off the back foot, well, it becomes very difficult to defend.
It does, and it's just subtle adjustments to the game, because you're not going to say that that is perhaps a massive move in one direction for batting in the shorter formats, but it does make a huge difference to a bowler. Mystery spin, leg spin have been so effective, and still will be. Batters are just finding a way. It's an excellent over. Often batting sides will target the last over of the power play. Often positioned captains will put one of their best, most reliable bowlers on to bowl out the power play. Slow, very slow. Goes to the boundary a bit quicker. So finishes what was a very good over with a boundary 8 from it, 73 for 1 from the power play.
Well, a very good power play for New Zealand. Not since February 2018 have England conceded more than the 73 they have this evening in a power play. So that's a measure of just how well New Zealand have done here. And it means that at the corresponding stage, they have 10 runs ahead of where England were. Principally down to Seifert, who's 42 from 24.
Leg spin options. England have got 4 if they need them. Spin of New Zealand, Sodhi and Santner in particular, exceptional. Yeah, Will Jacks, that's 5 if they need them. Right. At the moment, focus on Rayan Ahmed.
Well, we were talking a moment ago about the spinners who bowl quickly into the pitch. Put Rayan Ahmed in that number. He tends to bowl fizzing leg spinners and googlies at a decent lick. Very good googly with a high arm. Doesn't spin his leg spinner as much, but does spin it. But tends to bowl that length. Certainly doesn't float it up there.
I'm going to have a check this, I'm sure. David Milnes is going to have a little look. That was a brilliant bit of fielding. Luke Wood in the deep got there so quickly and released so quickly as well.
Yeah, his fast sprinter. He got round on his wrong side, but turned, and the throw was excellent.
So balls in hand. Yes, that's short of the ground. Made my decision for the big screen.
Mitchell well short, and he knew it.
He knew he didn't really need the umpire's review. He was halfway off anyway. Darryl Mitchell made 14 from 7. Excellent bit of work. Live wire in the field. It's not gone his way with ball in hand, Luke Wood. That is a terrific bit of fielding.
Well, Mitchell must have called that too, though. I don't think there was any sense that he was being pushed out of his comfort zone. It was up to him, and it looked as though he wanted the second, but was just beaten by excellent athleticism and a good, strong throw.
Yeah, sometimes players are aware, left-handed, right-handed. He may have taken that into consideration, but Luke was so good, Luke Wood, in getting into position and rotating round and releasing the ball. Had that been a right-handed thrower, it maybe wouldn't have taken on the second. Phillips. New man out there.
Start, Ryan.
Very good average, very good strike rate. Very energetic player as well. He'll push you in the field. Runs his ones and twos. Very, very good ball striker as well. So Ryan Ahmed under a little bit of pressure here, but he started well enough.
What? Hey, Ryan!
His nemesis in this series is not playing, Glenn Phillips. Gus Atkinson's got him out on 3 occasions, and pretty cheaply as well. Gus Atkinson not playing in this game.
Yes! Oh, lovely bowling, Ryan! Lovely, Ryan! Go on, Brookie!
Very good start. 5 runs from his first. 78 for 2.
Yeah, 6 of England's wickets fell to spin. And Moeen Ali, who's captaining still, although Joss Butler's on with the gloves, Moeen Ali is the captain for the evening. He's got 5 spinners to choose from. 2 genuine wrist spinners, and then 3 offies.
We didn't get a bowl last game. We debated that at the end of the match. A lot of right-handers, so stayed out of the attack, but he might put himself in to the attack as captain. We'll have to wait and see.
I said 3 offies. Would you describe Livingston? Well, how if you were having to describe him for the match program, what would you say?
Spinner. Dual spinner. Moeen Ali's gone back to Ali Rashid, faith and trust, understandably. He's been a brilliant bowler for many, many years. Go-to bowler for Owen Morgan, go-to bowler for Joss Butler. Beaten for pace and length, didn't pick the length at all.
Yeah, ball before was just one of those that Adil Rashid pushes out of the front of the hand. We saw Ish Sodhi get a wicket with one of those earlier in the game. Just flicks it out the front, and it's almost a flipper, not quite a flipper, but it gives the impression that it's shorter than it is because of the trajectory, which is flat with a bit of backspin on it.
Oh! Okay.
A second over for Adil Rashid, first expensive. This one 5, so 8 gone, 83 for 2.
We can't have another civil war. We kill anyone who gets in our way.
I was a world champion 4 times over, but I consider myself a failure. It wasn't supposed to end this way.
In it.
Catch it.
Good effort, very good effort from Rayan Ahmed. It was not by any means the middle of the bat. They need to keep picking up wickets, and the leg spin of Rayan Ahmed.
Yeah, big wicket as well. Seifert, who'd played really aggressively for his 48 from 32, just looking to work the ball, gets a half a leading edge, and pretty simple catch, actually, just had to make ground, but it's a nice catching height. You get the sense that this is the game, really. England's spinners against this middle order in the middle phase of the game. Seifert took advantage of the power play, but couldn't really kick on thereafter. 48 from 32, New Zealand 83 for 3.
Yeah, you feel there's a bit of symmetry in the way that both innings have been played out. Johnny Bairstow leading the way for England in the power play. Seifert there as well, in combination a little bit with Daryl Mitchell. Just trying to work it leg side, the leading edge. He's not dropping that off his own bowling. So we got the master and his apprentice, Adil Rashid at one end, Rayan Ahmed at the other. Combining well on this occasion, Mark Chapman. Excellent. He's getting through his over pretty quickly as well. Rayan Ahmed back to his mark, putting batters under pressure. He's ready.
Doing your over, Ray.
Excellent bowling. A little bit of fizz off the surface.
Yeah, don't know whether it was a attempted googly. Sometimes they just come out as a top spinner. And there's that kick and bounce off the pitch.
Wicket and 2 from it. Can he finish it without a boundary? He can indeed. Terrific over. That combined with the master who's bowling at the other end, Adil Rashid. Good couple of overs for England. Already 6 for 3. He is going to bowl himself. I wonder whether just because they put together a little spell there of a couple of overs building a bit of pressure, that then means that Adil Rashid can hold his 2 overs back for later.
And the advent of a left-hander, all the chat in the last game about Jos Buttler not bowling Moeen Ali, mainly because there were 2 right-handers in throughout the vast majority of that innings. Only until about, the 17th over did the right-hander fall and Chapman came in. Well, Chapman's in earlier now, left-hander, and so that gives Moeen Ali the opportunity to come into the attack.
Catch! Get it.
Saved a run. Excellent running on this occasion. He's a real live wire. Phillips, he'll push you in the field. Dragged down and dispatched. One of the biggest, if not the biggest, of the night so far from Glenn Phillips.
An amazing shot. I just didn't feel that was that short, but Phillips, who gets in that low kind of squat position anyway, just rocked back. Boy, he hit that well.
I don't know if it was taken or not. To see, but he might be claiming it. Round the wicket, change of angle. Trying to make it a little bit more difficult for him to hit leg side with the change of angle round the wicket. Again, wants 2. Phillips have to settle for 1 on this occasion. 10 from the over. Moeen Ali's first. 10 gone, 96 for 3.
Hey guys, these are my travel pics, and my skin as patchy as a world map. And now I've found my go-to product for a visibly even skin tone, Nivea Luminous 630. It visibly improved the evenness of my skin tone. Nivea Luminous 630, now available with 2...
Step into your future with learning that can take you anywhere.
Just this embroidery on the side.
Ohio say, listen to everybody say, be everybody else, can't you see? Ain't nobody just like
the future is open with the Open University.
Avoid online trackers. Zen. Be more cyber zen. Get NordVPN.
Jan's got a boyfriend. Seriously? What brings you to Belfast?
I am presenting a TV series.
You're presenting?
Yes. Oh, can you stop hitting me, please?
Who is he? He's nobody. He's not nobody. He's famous. His girlfriend's famous too. His girlfriend? I know it's terrible. We're completely different people from completely different worlds.
Give him a chance. He's English.
What did you do that for?
It's just instinct. I'm not used to people trying to kiss me.
You broke your nose. What nose?
What can fall in love? Shaman?
Can England continue their good form from the Ashes as they host Sri Lanka in a T20 series? Find out live on Sky Sports.
There will be a wonderful gift for each and every one of you.
Enjoy more of the latest blockbusters than anywhere else on Sky Cinema.
Rehan Ahmed will go again. 2 overs, 1 for 8. Been really good. Halfway stage. New Zealand pretty well placed. England will feel, though, that another wicket, and probably the wicket of Phillips, will see them right back in it, and maybe just a hint on top. Owen Morgan.
Absolutely. Good evening, Simon Dill. Good evening, everyone. New Zealand ahead of this game. For me at the moment, key how they continue to play the wrist spin of England. Good control of length from Rehan Ahmed. She was a little bit lucky with the wicket that he took. Held somewhat so. Took a really good catch. With the feeling that Adil Rashid will probably continue. It's cut away and it's found the gap over to the short side. Just a tiny bit of width created by Phillips to access that offside boundary.
It's just the power that Glenn Phillips possesses. Hand speed stays really low. Hits the ball so hard.
Phillips wanted to. Chapman said no. Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen Phillips take advantage. Some good ball striking this evening. One from the previous over, Moeen Ali. This from Rehan Ahmed. Not bad deliveries, just very good batting. Go!
It's just under 8 and over required. 9 from that one, and after 11, New Zealand are 105 for 3. Glenn Phillips has been good throughout the series.
He certainly has. We talk about his power a lot when he's batting. Look how he stands at the crease. Quite crouched in a power position. Almost like a boxer, as if he's about to throw a punch. Very balanced. Picks length. He's able to accelerate that power through the shot. Watch how late his hands break and accelerate through the ball. Very little movement at the crease, but because he has that balance, he's able to very efficiently hit through the ball. That's what gives him such power at the crease.
Where are you on that open blade, that very open bat face that he's got? You see it there on screen. How do you sit on that? How were you?
Yeah, I'm heavily in his favour. Don't come across many batters that can hit sixes with a neutrally faced bat. The longer the blade can stay in line with the ball and break through the ball, which is what you try and do when you hit maximums.
Oh, get it!
Go to the other end of the scale. I'll give you an instance. Johnny Bairstow very similarly aligned. Joss Butler ever so slightly open. You rewind the clock to somebody like Graham Smith. Brilliant batter, but very much a close faced batter. Access the leg side a lot. Just when your bat face is opened as predominantly as that, you can only accelerate through the power of the ball. One thing you probably have to be aware of, where you make contact through the ball.
A bit like that. It's just a phenomenal shot. It really is.
Absolutely phenomenal again. It's quicker from Rashid, 58 miles an hour. Again, squatting down really well. Almost just leans back, and everything about it is clean. Look at the power.
Just didn't quite pick it up cleanly. Yeah, the power generated through that shot is so good. I mean, he's an incredibly powerful built man, but it's that bat speed, everything that you like to see about it. The single brings 10 from that over, and after 12, New Zealand 115 for 3.
Jan's got a boyfriend. He's nobody. He's not nobody. He's famous. His girlfriend's famous too. His girlfriend? I know, it's terrible. We're completely different people. From completely different worlds.
Seamus?
Crowd have been terrific. It's been a magnificent day right across England, I think, right across the country. Very warm here in Nottingham. Shorts and t-shirt kind of afternoon and evening. Bryden Cass is back, 1 over 4:11. Face off. They might push for 2 here, and will do.
Yeah, really good running. Partnership with 32. 23 established well. Main run getter so far. Glenn Phillips talked about his setup and the power that he accesses today on a pitch that's a little bit more bounce in it. Accessing square of the wicket, both on the offside and the leg side. 48% through the leg side. Nearly 80% of his runs scored square of the wicket. It's slight in stature, but just goes to show how you adapt to different conditions on any given day, regardless of the form that you were in. He's been in good form throughout this series.
Through as well for a couple. Scores of 41, 22 and 69. 30 today for Phillips. Through as well. New Zealand's best performer by a stretch. Top edge, and it will go all the way. Sails and sails and keeps going.
Well, there was a cry of "oh no" from Glenn Phillips. He might have thought fine leg was back, but even if he was, the top edge and the power that he swings through the ball was good enough for a maximum. And on the second bounce, somebody in the crowd claims a catch. That is not the sport we are playing.
Shy from Adil Rashid. Picking up a 6 and over at the moment. The last 3 overs has been at least 1 Run rate required is well and truly under control from New Zealand's point of view. Under 7 now. Edgy for 4. Squared him up completely. And a little bit of good fortune for Mark Chapman on this occasion. 13 overs bowled, 131 for 3.
It's actually a really good delivery from Bryden Cars. The cutter squares Chapman up. Third is up in the ring. Fine leg is up in the ring. Really defensive field from England at the moment. You consider Black Caps only require 6.5 or just under an over. You probably want to see a more aggressive field. Moeen Ali, tonight's captain, has had experience in the role before. Joss Butler out there as Johnny Bairstow picked up an injury or batting. We'll see Rian Ahmed continue.
Gap out at deep mid-wicket, but can't get it past Brook. Fine, and the reverse sweep will race away for 4.
Yeah, good shot from Chapman. Rian Ahmed changing up the angle here, bowling around the wicket. There's only one man to beat. Short third or backward point, and Adil Rashid just under edge. Through and gets full reward. Not sure I like this angle, Dooley. Doesn't give him...
There's more contact on that one from towards the middle of the bat. Just the one, though.
And the reason I don't like it is because as a left-handed batter, you always feel the threat of a ball going across you and beating on the outside edge. It's not necessarily always the one that comes in as the danger ball. I know that Rian Ahmed is a very good googly.
Cut away powerfully by Phillips, and 4 more.
Well, it's the length from Ahmed that allows Chapman, or Phillips, correction, to cut away this ball and control it.
Hasn't got anywhere near of it. Should be taken at mid-wicket. Is taken comfortably. Sam Curran picks up the catch. Phillips' innings comes to an end. Is there a little bit of life for England yet?
Well, it's a shot we've seen Glenn Phillips take on a lot throughout this series, and more often than not, it's landed in the stands. This time round, catches high on the bat. Sam Curran comes in and takes a simple catch. Is there still a chance for England? Then Phillips plays well again for 42 off just 25. New Zealand require 35 from 36 deliveries.
Truly in front of where England were at this stage. Becomes about wickets now for England. They need a couple more, put some pressure on that lower order. Santner, Jamieson, Sodhi to come. Two left-handers at the crease now with Rachin Ravindra and Mark Chapman. Left-handed Santner to come. I wonder whether we see the introduction of Livingston just to bowl some off-spin as well as Moeen Ali.
This is the angle from over the top that you would have. Targeted that side the whole time to spinners that end. And that brings Rachin Ravindra for his first game in this series.
Dragged down and powerfully hit by Chapman. Sam Curran didn't have far to go, but couldn't get anywhere near it.
It was so short on that leg side. No margin for error at all. Chapman, 24 off 16, isn't missing out on that.
Again from Mark Chapman. He's a much improved cricketer in the last year or so. And some terrific performances for New Zealand. Tour to Pakistan, he was superb. Push for two here, and it should be relatively comfortable. It is. So 9 runs from that over. New Zealand's 150 up now, 4 wickets down. They need 26 off 30.
I was a world champion 4 times over, but I consider myself a failure. It wasn't supposed to end this way.
Sky Arts brings you an unmissable celebration of the incredible David Hockney.
When I'm in the studio, I feel 30.
New Zealand need to win this game to level the series. And they're in firm control of the game at the moment. They only require 26 from the last 5 overs. England need wickets. Turn to their champion leg spinner, Adil Rashid, to try and get them one in his final and 4th over. There's just been a little bit of spin there, but really from the start that Seifert gave them, and then Glenn Phillips in the middle phase of the game, New Zealand have never given the impression of being under any kind of pressure at all, as Chapman just seizes on a ball that is slightly short of a length to pick up his 4th boundary.
Beautifully hit. You don't want it to get too close. You're well ahead of the game, and you need to keep pulling ahead. Shots like this, low risk but effective, will enable that. You want to finish it by the 18th over if they can, 19th the latest.
And with the spin and into the crowd, terrific batting from Chapman, who cut the previous ball through the offside and has just helped himself to 6 through the leg side. Beautiful piece of timing.
Really smart batting from Chapman. Since he has come in, he's picked the bowler he wants to attack. He's taken really solid options, and when he has decided to go for a boundary, he's been fully committed. It's been a brilliant chase so far. Well set up by Seifert, and then Phillips, and now Chapman taking New Zealand home.
looks as though he's reading Adil Rashid out of the hand. It's not always easy to do. If you're listening to Owen Morgan in the last game, talked a lot about Rashid holding the ball down the seam, so it's a scramble seam often. It's not easy to pick the ball spinning in the air. You have to try and read him out of the hand if you can.
Gives you a massive advantage when you can. You read the googly, the front of the hand release, the top spinner or the leg spinner out of the hand, gives you that extra fraction of a second to set yourself and execute a shot.
Yeah.
Single to finish the over. 12 from it. Rashid relatively expensive this evening, none for 41 from 4.
All the bowlers from England. Curran Wood, expensive. Cast as well, 27 off his 2. Rashid going intense. Ahmed very, very good. Bodes well that Ahmed has bowled well for England.
Yeah, it does bowl well because they'll see Rehan Ahmed as the natural successor to Adil Rashid, which is not to be pushing Adil Rashid out of the door at all. He's got plenty of cricket left in him, but Rehan Ahmed would be seen as a natural successor to Adil Rashid in time. Now then, 4 overs remaining. It's New Zealand's game to lose. Last throw of the dice from Moeen Ali is to hand the ball to Sam Curran.
England has experimented others, but to be fair to New Zealand, once they got their batting right in the power play, they looked a different side.
Yeah, it's been a curious series so far. England romping home in the first 2 games. New Zealand won by a very comfortable margin in the 3rd, and at the moment cantering home in the 4th. And that's the 2nd time we've seen a left-hander. It was Chapman a few overs ago, a genuine edge going very fine for 4.
Daryl Mitchell promoted up the order as well. A few changes for New Zealand in terms of looking for their ideal combination, ideal entry points for their batters. The last 2 games, it's worked really, really well.
I think England will feel they just didn't get enough runs when you consider that Johnny Bairstow was striking at close to 180. No other batter in that lineup more than 130, and given the power that England have in their batting lineup, they will feel they've just left a few runs out there after the start that Bairstow gave them. Previous 2 T20 internationals here at Trent Bridge, scores were over 200. That's the kind of target that you're looking to set if you bat first here.
Yeah.
For all the hitting power, you also need some experience out there in the middle. Usually in this series, it's been just Buttler. They haven't had to do much under pressure. Setting a total or chasing one down, except in the last 2 games. And New Zealand have pressed England hard and got on top.
Well, it sets it up well for the ODI series to follow. We've had a reminder in the last 2 games of the quality that New Zealand possess. They'll be bolstered further in the World Cup by the return of Kane Williamson, but if they can put in a good showing in the ODI series to come, and then both these teams will meet up in Ahmedabad on October the 5th to get the World Cup underway. So New Zealand just 1 hit away now from a series levelling victory.
A crowd catch. A little bit too late in the day.
Well, he struck the ball sweetly, as Mark Chapman. There have been 4 fours and a 6 off his bat, striking at 150. And Seifert, Phillips and Chapman have just controlled this run chase very comfortably. Said he's hit it sweetly and powerfully too. I reckon it's Cast out there. He probably only had to go 2 or 3 yards to his left, but he's beaten by the power of Chapman.
That is hit extremely powerful. You can see the way he's built, that he's got the power. Chapman has got a T20 as well against Pakistan. So he's no stranger to pressure and this format and attacking batting. And they're there, just a runaway from leveling the series and putting in another dominant performance.
Yeah, Moeen Ali, the standing captain, will bowl this over. He brings everybody in. It's all academic now. New Zealand are going to win this very comfortably. 1 forward defensive. I'm not sure we'll see a second. And a misfield rather sums up England's evening. It's a comfortable victory for New Zealand. They win this game by 6 wickets. They win it with 2.4 overs to spare. So in the context of T20, that's a bit of a hammering they've handed out here to England. They did so in Birmingham. Mentioned it's been a curious series with both teams winning their games by massive margins, really. England the first 2 and New Zealand showing their character and resilience to come back and win the second 2 comfortably. So 2-all it is, and a fair reflection of the uneven cricket played by both teams in this series. It's been a good run chase by New Zealand though. Seifert got things going for them. Phillips played exceptionally.